Welcome to Jagee's Cookbook. I hope you're all enjoying your Sunday and, well, any other day. I'm really having a wonderful time and I'm very, very happy today to show you, well, a very retro dessert because I'm in a retro mood. And that's why I'm going to show you today the Arctic roll. Have you heard about it? You wouldn't. Well, people who were born probably in the 1950s, they probably remember. But I don't know about afterwards because this particular Arctic roll was actually it was actually made, or it came into being around the 1950s. It became very, very popular in the 1970s, especially all weddings in England and America and everything, all weddings and any parties you go to, the Arctic roll would be served. Now, during the 1980s, it went down. The popularity went down because there were so many more better desserts, more inventive or more innovative, creative desserts which came into the market. So the Arctic roll sadly fluttered away. But I remember during my childhood days having the Arctic roll, especially me and my father used to have our Arctic roll parties, and it was really nice. Now, what the Arctic roll predominantly is, it's a cylindrical, it's a cylinder or a tube of vanilla ice cream which is encased in a wonderful sponge, and in between the sponge and the tube of vanilla ice cream there would be either raspberry preserve or strawberry preserve. So in effect, when you actually have or cut a cross section of it, you can actually see the middle will have a vanilla ice cream. Around that there will be a red line of strawberry or raspberry preserve, and then there will be the sponge. Very, very tasty. One of my favorite desserts. Now I'm going to show you how to make it today, because you're really going to enjoy it. I know it. This is totally yummy, and yes, it's so easy also because, well, vanilla ice cream is store-bought and all the other things are easy. Well, a bit of getting used to actually assembling it. Once you learn the technique, you'll get it. So let's start. What are we waiting for? Now, for our Arctic roll, first what we have to do is we have to make a thin layer of sponge. Now the idea is to put the cylindrical ice cream onto the sponge and roll it. Okay, so that is the idea, that's the concept. So first of all, let's make the sponge, which is so simple. Now we need around 100 grams of soft butter, okay, not melted, soft butter, very, very soft butter. And together with that, we need 100 grams of caster sugar, okay, 100 grams of caster sugar, granulated sugar, no problem, 100 grams. In that goes. Now, like all good cake recipes start, we cream the butter and the sugar till it becomes light and fluffy, okay. So let's just cream, let me just mix this in carefully, otherwise I'm going to have snowflakes all over. And it's not Christmas time already, it's summer, really, really hot nowadays. So just mix everything in with the beater. Yes, exactly like this, and then I'll start the motor. Now you don't necessarily need the electric beater, okay, you just need a wooden spoon. All you have to do is a little more arm work, that's all. Otherwise, just use your electric beater to make things easier. Okay. Now, once the butter and the sugar has been creamed properly till pale, light, and fluffy, what we do is add, now we need for this measurement, we need 2 eggs, okay? So 100 grams of butter, soft butter, with 100 grams of caster sugar, and we need 2 eggs. Add the eggs one by one, no separating or anything, just add it into the creamed mixture and beat it well, one by one. Now, This is done. Now make sure, one important thing is you have to keep all the ingredients for this at room temperature. Okay? If you don't use it at room temperature, what happens is it tends to split, and that will affect the texture of the cake. Many people don't know that, and many people actually do the opposite, and they say that splitting is actually good for the cake, which is nonsense. It's not like that. You have to make sure that the cake batter is really smooth so that it rises uniformly. Okay, so one egg is over. Now we'll have the next egg. Okay? Carefully and beat it. Now the butter, sugar and 2 eggs should be beaten really well so that it really becomes, the mixture really becomes soft and light and fluffy. Okay, that's how the texture of the cake becomes really soft and more smoother. Okay, so that is done. Okay, now we keep that aside, we'll keep it there, and the next thing what we do is we need 100 grams of all-purpose flour. 100 grams of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. We have to sieve it together. Okay, so let me take my measuring spoon and I'm going to add, I'm just going to sieve it in this. Okay, and with 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay. Okay. One teaspoon of baking powder, and we just sieve it in. Okay. Now we've sieved 100 grams of all-purpose flour with 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and we have to put it, or we have to incorporate it in our butter, egg and sugar mixture, a tablespoon at a time, carefully. Now you need patience for this. It's a simple, very, very simple sponge, but the technique is a bit well time consuming, and it is going to test your patience for some time, which I apparently don't have, but I have learnt it through my baking and cooking lessons. Okay, so this is done. Just give it a mix, and with a tablespoon, carefully add one at a time, mix, okay, and finish the whole flour up till you get a lovely cake mixture. A tablespoon at a time. Keep on doing that till the whole of the flour is used up. So I'll finish all of the flour and you come back. Now the cake mixture is ready. Now what we do is we have to, well, this is a Swiss roll tin. Now you don't need a Swiss roll tin. What you can actually do, now I have actually greased it and put grease-proof paper, okay, on it. You don't need this. You can actually use your oven grill, and you can actually put a grease-proof paper on that and make it into a sheet. But I'm going to actually use this, which is 30 by 20, okay? 30 by 20 centimeter pan, okay? Now, first what we do is grease with a little bit of oil or butter. Now what we have to do is just spread it along, okay? And this mixture, we have to put it into the cake tin, and we have to make it, now this has baking powder, so it's okay. We have to make it into a sheet. We need a sheet of sponge. we have to preheat our oven to around 180 degrees, okay? Baking time is just 10 to 12 minutes, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, just pour the mixture on top. You may think that this mixture is not enough. Don't fret. Trust me. I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm showing, okay? So I know exactly this cake mixture or this cake batter is more than enough. Okay, the cake mixture is put on or transferred onto a Swiss roll tin or a jelly roll tin, and then what we have to do is we have to spread this evenly into one layer, okay? So carefully, okay, make sure it's even. Now, you may think it's not enough, but remember, we have put a leavening agent, there's a rising agent, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and that is going to, rise up, and this is going to become spongy. So don't panic when you first see the cake mixture and think, oh, this isn't enough. But don't worry, just be patient, be happy. The only thing you have to be very careful is you have to level everything into one smooth surface or into one smooth layer. So now this is spread into one layer. All we have to do is put it in a preheated oven, 180 for around 10 to 12 minutes till it's done. Not brown, till it's springy to the touch. And then they're ready, okay? So bake, my darling, bake. And I'll come and see you after around 10 to 12 minutes. Now, my cake mix is done. Let's go and have a look. Yeah, it's done. Yes. It's more than done, actually. Don't make it too... Okay, yes. And then it should be springy to the touch. Okay. Now, we have to leave it to cool. So, what we do is we need a wire rack. A wire rack is a very, very good investment if you're into serious baking. If you're into serious baking, it's a very good investment. But I don't know whether you get these things out here. I got this from, I think I got this from Singapore. So this is a very good thing to cool things off, okay? Now we need to cool this, okay? A bit, not too much, a bit. Now I need a butter paper, just keep it on the wire rack. Take some caster sugar, spread it in an even layer. Now, why I'm doing this is I'm going to create a barrier between the sponge and the butter paper so that the sponge will not stick to the butter paper when I'm actually rolling. This is going to be rolled. So, just keep this caster sugar. It can be granulated sugar too, but caster sugar has a lovely fairy tale effect. Okay, looks beautiful. Just in random order, don't have to be decorative about it. Okay, now what we do is slowly and carefully just tip this over to this. Okay, now be very careful. Let's take it like this and just tip it over like so, and carefully take out the butter paper. Carefully. Voila. We don't need this anymore. Now, the next thing what we do is we have to, don't let it cool too much, because if it cools too much, what happens is that when we roll, it will tend to break. The next step is strawberry or raspberry jam. And I have got it in toothpaste form. No, I've got it in tube form actually. And I'm just going to spread this over. Whoops. I'm going to be very careful. We need a thin layer of jam, raspberry or strawberry. Anything will do. This is actually strawberry. Okay. Now, let's spread it on. Lovely. Gorgeous. Now, you don't have to spread it till the ends, okay? Because we are going to cut off the ends once it's rolled. You can cut off the ends if you want to now. You can. But I prefer to do it otherwise. Voila. Okay, that's done. Now, this is the first step is a sponge. The second step is the layer of jam or preserve. The third step is our vanilla ice cream, which we need around 650 to 700 ml. Okay, 650 to 700 ml tub of vanilla ice cream, and what we do is we put it in a cling film and shape it into a sausage or a cylindrical shape. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Come with me. And I've got my ice cream all shaped up. Okay, now this is like around 650 ml of vanilla, pure vanilla ice cream. Okay, don't let this cool down too much, because this once it cools down too much, it will tend to break once we roll. Okay, so what we do is, what I did was I put it in 2 cling films, okay, and then I shaped it into a sausage. I shaped it into a cylindrical shape. Okay, I just take it out. Now, the shape necessarily doesn't have to be a perfect cylinder. I mean, it can be cylinder. You're going to roll it out, but the cake, the sponge, is going to be wrapped around it. And this is getting cold, and my hands are freezing. My fingers are freezing. Ooh. Yep. Ouch. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to slowly roll the sponge, the jam, and the ice cream together. Okay, so very carefully. Okay, now what we do is just roll it and keep it like this. Okay, keep it like this. This is supposed to really gel up, okay? And we put it straight in the freezer for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, till it's really, really set. Now, this is ready, okay? It's wrapped up and ready to be put in the freezer, okay? Now, this has to wait at least 2 to 3 hours, and then you'll get your Arctic roll. And what we do finally is we take it out, cut it, okay, cross-sectionally, cut out the end parts, the 2 end parts, and then you'll get the perfect Arctic roll. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my freezer. And then we'll get a wonderful Arctic roll. And I'm sure this summer you're going to really enjoy this Arctic roll, a very retro dessert, a very retro me from you.